Incredible producer, and I decided to start this program to be able to help others find their own people. So if you're a writer, and you want to make something, the best thing to do is to pair you with a director, another producer, an editor, a costume designer, all those things. And so we poured over submissions from each of these specific occupations, categories, and ultimately paired people that we thought would fit well together, put them in a round to mingle, gave them prompts, and that's how that party was started. And then 2020 hit, and we didn't really get to see those short film programs through, but a lot of those people kept in touch, and that is, the reason for the program. So that showed us that there was something there, and so now with your help and other sponsors' help, we were able to kind of build that out and do it on a professional level, on a higher scale. And our president of ColorCreative, Talitha, has been overseeing that. The program is in effect, and we have so many talented people working together to make well-funded short films. Sure, yeah, one of the main lessons I've learned in collaboration in particular is that is absolutely essential. Sometimes I think we as creators glorify the idea of doing it alone, and that this idea of credit, and that was something that I was very guilty of coming up. It's just like, to be acknowledged, sometimes you feel like, oh, I have to get all the credit in some ways. Like, people have to know that this came from me, and I've worked with other people who feel the same way, and there's that doesn't lead to any progress moving forward, and there's not really any glory or credit. Like, I've never said like, oh dang, that person did it all by themselves with nobody else. That's, woo! I'm just like, oh, that feels so sad and lonely. And for me, so much of this, the joy of this journey has been doing it with other people and watching them grow in their own respective careers. And in the same way that, they've helped my careers, I can point out to being able to help launch theirs and help them be great. And so that, to me, is so essential in the collaboration process. I think sometimes when we think about collaboration, it is like, how is this helping my project? But you have to keep an eye on how you're helping somebody else's journey too, and you have to have those check-ins of like, is this benefiting you as much as it's benefiting me? And if it's not, let's figure out how it can. And that's the true magic of collaboration. So for me, I just always have my eye on that. Sometimes something Black is successful or something female-led is successful, we're like, oh, hopefully this opens the doors, and we know that we need it, but like, then somehow the door gets closed again and people forget. Like, I feel like this industry has amnesia all the time, and it's always a surprise. Like, oh, you can watch movies? Okay, we should, have them make more movies, and then, they make one and they're like, oh, women do not watch movies, and then they determine that there just isn't an audience anymore. So obviously success and money will drive interest and will drive what the industry ultimately produces. But honestly, I'm scared right now for the industry, and I'm scared for so many of the strides that we've made given the strike. And given all of these changes that we fought for, like they're ultimately going to lead to less things being produced. And these are demands that we need. Like, these are demands that the writers and actors absolutely need to be able to have a stake in this industry and longevity in this industry. But sometimes that's at the expense of our stories. And so anytime costs need to be cut, anytime the industry is in strife, we are the first ones to go. And so I think it's absolutely essential for us to keep an eye on it so that that doesn't happen again. We see generations. One of my favorite stories that I love to tell is, like, I remember when I was first starting out in this industry, I was on a panel, and I was so excited to be on this particular panel with other filmmakers. And my mom was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going on a panel. And she was like, oh, panel? Let's get on the panel. Wow, what is it about? And I was like, oh, it's about, this new generation of storytellers, and we're talking about how this time is different, and it's just about, diversity in the industry. And she was like, they still talking about that? We're talking about that in the 60s, we're talking about that in the 70s, we're talking about that in the 80s, so good luck. And that's need people in positions of power to be able to greenlight these situations. And we have that. We have that. That's absolutely essential. But now they're firing them. So now we need people at higher positions to hire the people in these positions of power. But I don't mean to be a downer because I am generally optimistic, but it really is up to us to keep our foot on people's necks to make sure that our stories make it up. My foot's gonna fail at that. You know? And yeah, I feel like we're constantly preaching to the bunch, I think asking the powers that be, and really holding them to these promises that were made. These promises that were made in 2020 after George Floyd. Everybody was like, oh, I can't, racism is terrible, and I can't wait to put all my money towards equality. And then again, that industry amnesia hit, and they were like, what? George who? I'm sorry. And that's real. And so I think holding corporations responsible for the money that they said that they were going to give to creators. Like a lot of that money is just still sitting there, and there's so many ways to take advantage of that. There's so many companies that still need to benefit from that. And so